Yes, it's regional because the people outside of New York, they not messing with neither one of them.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that. Jim Jones thinks he's better than Nas. Right? So Jim Jones has been in the news for. I'm gonna explain it.
To be clear, he's speaking strictly from Billboard standards.
That's wrong.
I got a video for us to watch.
Yeah, we have a video.
He's
still wrong, but we're gonna watch this video. We're gonna discuss because he's still wrong.
Ask you a question, Jim. You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
ain't no shame in that. There a lot of more folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear and shit, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that. Like, I don't.
Man, go ahead on with that, Jim.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm being honest. I'm being a fan. I'm telling you, the movie Belly was fire, but after that, he kind of lost me. I think we was way too much into the game.
I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. I can
be in the church house. You can't emphasize Nas. I don't know who told you that. Now look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas.
Bro,
you're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Ain't
nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the Diplomats but you.
Hey, he said I could be in the church house. Yo,
Unc ain't going, man.
Unc ain't going. I'm not going. This is delusional
Jim,
talk.
at the end of the day, Jim knows.
They had two different arguments.
So let me ask.
He was wrong on both of them.
So let me ask.
He can't. He might not be wrong on one of them.
Oh, what? Billboard?
No. As far as lyrically, sales, all of those things, no, he can't hold a candle to.
Okay.
But if you speak about influence, hey, it's debatable, man.
So we're talking about alternative reality.
We're talking about debatable.
We're only talking about fashion-wise.
That's it.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
But that's big, though.
Okay,
no, it's not.
all right. Let me rewind. Let me rewind. When we talk about Dipset, even fashion-wise, we still look at Cameron first.
Yeah, yes and no, because Jim's point is Cam took some of the stuff that Jim was doing. That's what Cam was saying at one point in time when they was into it. You know what I mean? So, like, if that is a thing, I can see what he's saying. And for us, for people of our age,
there was a segment in time. So I'll agree with you. So there was a segment in time where Dipset was very influential, fashion-wise, in the rap game, minus the music. No, just the whole biker chain look, all that shit.
That's
Dipsets. Okay, we're talking about Nas, the lyricist.
Come on, man.
Even if we go into fashion, Nas, you know what I'm saying? He's one of the first people to. The partners here, yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to Raekwon.
He was wearing Timbs long before them, before they was even out.
Come on, man.
I mean, that's just a New York staple.
I was about to say, yeah, we can't give that solely to Nas though.
The big neck, the big QB pieces, and all of that shit.
We can't give that solely.
Who we gonna give it to?
Everybody had big pieces, man. Everybody's wearing big pieces,
bruh.
That's not.
I can't believe we even have this conversation.
When anybody's comparing anything musically. When you bring up Nas as a rapper, if you ain't talking about rap, you ain't talking about shit.
That's what I'm saying. If we just talking music, he doesn't have a leg to stand on.
But he openly said music.
But in that interview,
as an idiot, he said that.
In the interview that you just showed,
okay,
he admitted to being wrong when it came to music and Billboard charts and all that stuff.
Let's simplify it. Let's just chop
and
it.
then he changed his argument into influence.
I would too if I sound like an idiot.
Yeah,
if
he's talking music, he does not have a
right,
label.
but let's chop it down though. So what you telling me is Dipset's run that Terry talked about. However many
about
years,
5 years,
about 3 to 5. I was gonna say. I'm talking about high, like elite. Shout out to the
2 to
Heatmakers.
3.
All right.
Okay, 2 to 3. Shout out to the Heatmakers. They're 80% responsible for this, if we're being honest. But you're telling me that 2 to 3 year run with them and the chains and the wave caps and I remember all that. We was outside. You're saying that's more influential than Nas?
No, I'm gonna add some more reasons why it's not, because you're not influential. You're not influencing rappers or artists coming up to be good artists and rappers. Nobody ever comes out and says Jim Jones was my influence
At all.
Nas has influenced a whole generation of rappers. So that by itself,
again,
you can't tell me just because you had on a fire ass butter Averex and some dope ass jeans with skulls and crosses on it that was hot for a segment of time that you're more influential than Nas.
Again, you speaking to somebody in our generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people of our age group. There's a whole generation under us that look at Jim like not, and that's who he's speaking to.
No, so I will say this. I did see a young man on a podcast.
Yeah, he was bullshit.
That
too.
was saying he would listen to Jim Jones before he would listen to Nas.
I believe him
and
too.
it's solely based off of his aura or his fashion sense.
That's what I'm saying. There's a whole generation under us that really look at him like when you talk about, because there's a whole generation of young rappers in New York that gravitate towards Jim. Jim puts his arm around them. You know what I mean? And they really rock with him in that nature. You know what I mean? Like all them new hot New York rappers, they go to Jim. They would go to Jim before they go to Nas.
Okay, but Nas has the whole country. He can have that little segment in Harlem.
As a 40-year-old, like you talk about people of our age group, yes. But that younger generation under us, the Playboy Cardi,
there's some young cats that got sense and know good and damn well that Jim Jones ain't.
So you telling me Playboy Cardi, which is one of the probably the biggest artists in the country right now.
Mm-hmm. What type of artists are going to see Jim?
You think he gonna go?
He's telling you.
You think he gonna go to get a feature from Nas before he go get one from Jim Jones?
He might not. Well, I would have said he can't afford it, but Playboy Cardi got paper, so I can't say that. I don't know, man. Honestly.
He's definitely going to go to Jim Jones first, just because Jim Jones got his tap on New York.
Okay, but
he sees that as
Hit Boy just did how many albums with Nas?
Why he ain't doing with Jim Jones?
Hit Boy is 40 plus years old.
Hit Boy
is not 40 years old. He is 40 years old.
Me and Jim Jones are the same age. We are both 48
We're going to go to Google because Hit Boy is
like
not
20
40
something.
He's not in his 20s. He's not in his 20s. 38. He's not 40.
Okay.
40 years old.
No,
that's what
he's
I'm
not 40.
You know what I mean? If Hit Boy is 40 years old, there's a certain generation that he would cater to.
How many albums have Hit Boy and Nas done? 6 records? 5 or 6? He hasn't been 38 for all of those.
He wasn't, but again, that's what I'm saying.
He probably was 30 on the first one.
32, 31 years old?
We're not talking about 30-year-olds. We're talking about 25 and below.
I guess my question is, why would if what you're saying is what we talking about, aura and all the swag and relevance, all that, why wouldn't Hit Boy reach out to Jim Jones instead of Nas? If you can answer that, I'll leave you alone.
I don't have.
I know you don't.
I think to be honest with you, Hit Boy probably. Hit Boy, he said it himself. He took messing with Nas as a challenge.
No, I'm not buying that. No,
he said
that. He did.
No, he said that. It was a challenge because everybody was on Nas' head about Nas having trash beats. So he was like, "Well, let me get with him, and I'll let him give him some of my sauce."
It's a challenge, but he also knows he's a legend. He knows that.
Of course, he's a legend, but that's why nobody 25 and younger was listening to him.
No, man. You trying to play me like he said the only reason they did 6 records is because it was a challenge. No,
I'm not saying that's the only reason, but I'm telling you that's why he went to him.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, he said it out of his own mouth.
He did say that, but that's not the majority of the reason.
It's not, but I still, even when you talk about younger cats gravitating more so to Jim Jones, I think that's very regional. I honestly don't think that people outside of New York and a couple people scattered here and there are rocking with Jim Jones like that over Nas.
I would tell you this much.
I agree.
I would tell you this much. Yes, it's regional because the people outside of New York, they not messing with neither one of them niggas.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that.
Nas did a whole tour.
I don't believe
suited and booted with an orchestra, I believe.
How many 25-year-olds was going to that
concert?
Don't
know that. You don't know that.
I don't know.
It was a couple years ago. Nas was here with Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Out at
I was there.
whatever they call the arena now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like if Jim Jones came here with.
He's going to the Vogue.
He can come here with come here with Hall and Oates. They going to the Vogue.
No,
man.
He's going to the White Rabbit. He can't sell out the Vogue.
He's going to the White Rabbit.
He can't sell out the Vogue.
Jim
Jones?
You just did Hall and Oates dirty.
I played Hall and Oates. I'll take that back.
Hall and Oates is going to be at the amphitheater.
Maybe he might get half of the inside high five.
Man, Jim Jones might do a club appearance.
I think Jim Jones could get the high five, man.
I can't.
I would hope so.
I don't have a leg in this fight, so I'm gonna let y'all talk. I can't tell you a Nan Jim Jones song.
I never take nothing away from Jim Jones.
He got joint.
Jim Jones got some heat.
No, because one of my favorite joint. Now, mind you, this is 2019. Was the El Capo album. That album was really great. Shout out to Fred the Godson.
It's some mature rap on that joint. I agree.
But honestly, he's put out like 6 or 7 more records past that, and I couldn't tell you anything.
Byron know all of them apparently because he got so much influence over the culture.
Look,
and all that, and wave caps and all this other stuff.
I'm not saying that because truth be told, outside of those albums from the early 2000s, I don't really mess with Jones like that.
But let me ask you this though: you have a son that is around that age, right?
Yes. Hell no, you don't mess with no Jim Jones.
Okay, that's where I was going.
Right. That's all right.
But
all right.
That's because he doesn't live in the tri-state area.
If he did, he'd have a vampire belt buckle on or something like that.
Quiet as kept, he do have one of those bedazzled belts.
It ain't because of Jim Jones.
That was influenced by him, though.
That is that's the only thing I get.
Yeah, because they had the skull belt buckles
and the wallet
and all
chain.
that stuff.
So if I the wallet chains,
I
you're
used to rock wallet chains and shit.
I'm not fronting on the influence.
True religions.
I'm not fronting on the influence.
I would more so give that to 2 Chainz.
I would give 2 Chainz that, but you talking about with the belt buckles and the chains? I'm with you on that, 100%. I'm with you on that.
Mr. B2 on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the belt buckles, the chains, the wallet joints, I got you. I'm
telling the thermal under the t-shirt type shit.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, okay, fashion-wise, yeah.
Cool.
But bro, look, I'm speaking. So that's all I'm speaking to. If he got a leg to stand on, if we talking about influence,
I'm telling you about influence. Like Gobo don't have a skull belt buckle on.
But let me ask you this: when you say like influencer, are you talking about just specifically influence in one particular type of fashion type thing? Because influence in general is different, right?
I can say regionally, music maybe.
You think?
Over there, yes.
Are you serious?
Over there, now the young cat. I'm only saying that because of the young cats, man. You know what I mean? Like, even look at Mass Appeal as a record label.
Mm-hmm.
He is going and tapping into older artists just because the young cats ain't really messing with that.
Talking about as far as Nas,
I think the only thing is I have a hard time. Like I can see people not tapping into Nas because he's older. I just have a hard time believing those same people are tapping into Jim Jones.
That's the
of all people.
Of all people.
But I do agree
maybe
with
I'm
you
wrong
on
because
the
again,
fashion.
I don't really know his music like that.
The fashion part. Here's the thing. We've said this multiple times on this show. You cannot tell the story of hip hop without mentioning Dipset. I don't care what you say. They had a wave that was undeniable. He's a part of that, so I'm not about to front on him.
This is the thing that's pissing me off. Is like,
what I do?
Y'all got me capping for this dude. Like, for
you
real, like,
definitely capping.
because I'm not though. Because not capping, but you got me caping for this dude.
Caping.
Because like, truth be told, I do not agree with Jim Jones as far as him being more influential than Nas, but he does. He makes a point.
In that one particular part.
In that point in that segment, he has a leg to stand on. I can't take that away from him.
That's fair.
It's just wild when you're a rap artist and your influence is just fashion.
That speaks volumes as to who you are.
But that's big to certain artists.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Aura, not really lyrics.
Swag rap is a real thing. That's all Jim Jones ever was.
Yeah,
I can't argue with that.
Yeah, all Jim Jones.
I don't want to
I
say
can't argue
that.
with that. That's what he was, though.
Because when
Or
you know,
is.
like I said, El Capo is a record I listen to. You know, and I don't listen to records extensively anymore because I have to listen to so many so I can stay up on what's going on. And honestly, sometimes I just don't feel like listening to hip hop. I'd rather listen to people talk about hip hop. It's kind of crazy. But with Jim, I don't want to sell him short. Like, he's put out good music, but it hasn't connected in the way that, you know, like I said, outside of the tri-state area, I just don't have a concept of people getting excited about Jim Jones's music.
I'll give you one more influence, and that would be reality TV show Love and Hip Hop.
Now, if you want to go that route.
But how long ago was that?
I mean, they still talk
the
about
tone.
It counts, though.
He
It
set
counts.
the tone.
You know, I do.
He said that he gave that idea to Mona and she stole it from him.
I don't know about all
Are you
that.
really out
Look,
here
all
on
I
this
know-
soapbox for
This is what he said. This
So what you're
is
saying
he
is
said.
Jim Jones is responsible for bedazzled belts.
Yes, it love
in
and hip hop.
reality TV.
That's not something I want to be responsible for.
He thinks it's great.
I'm
He
not-
thinks it's great.
I'm not saying it's great.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's a whole generation that's all they know.
And they seen Jim Jones on Love and Hip Hop. I'll give him that. I mean, Love and Hip Hop birthed Cardi B. We wouldn't know nothing about a Cardi B without a Love and Hip Hop. So okay, I'll give him those two.
That's all I'm saying, man. There's a whole
There's a lot more beyond that.
We not. I'm not speaking solely for people in my generation. I'm looking at it at the culture as a whole.
Yeah,
No,
those
we
was
can
kids
speak
that
to
were
his-
watching that. Yeah.
His celebrity, and I know that somebody must have wore that Vampire Life stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they actually wore his brand, but they definitely jocked his style.
Okay. I'll get, like I said, man, it's so hard when you've been listening to hip hop as long as I have, and somebody say, "Yeah, I'm gonna put Jim Jones right up there with Nas or above him."
Correction, as long as we have, because we all was outside.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there are certain things like musically, I can say, yo, I am a fan of that piece of work that Jim Jones did.
Yeah.
But I just want you to look, Jim Jones, nothing that he has put out is better than the last 6 albums that Nas put out with Hit Boy.
So a lot of people
And
can
that's-
be influential.
And that is Nas actually doing side missions after he's already beat the game.
Yeah.
So what you telling me, B, and we can close it here. What you
No,
telling
we
me?
can't. I got one more point.
Go ahead. Say
about
I'm
people
sorry.
being influential, because
Yes,
when we talk about Soulja Boy is very influential,
he is.
and he hits a lot of those buckets, so to speak. But that doesn't make him better than Nas. I'll just say that, and I'll leave it at that. Go ahead, Mike.
They're not even in.
But I mean, I get into Byron's point. I don't think that's what he's saying.
I know, but
You know?
He's still right though. What he said though, Terry, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's what it is.
Hey,
Hey, look, there are people who are a certain age who would much rather hear Pretty Boy Swag than The World Is Mine. Or The World Is Yours, rather. You know, and I don't care about those people because
He beat him to it because he.
I was just going to say, are those the people
I
that
don't care?
yeah,
No, I was gonna say, are those the people that buy gas station T-shirts or try to get into
yes,
Casmo?
yeah, absolutely,
yeah, probably.
and Yums.
Yums. Yeah.
Sorry,
A-Rab was not up next. I also
No,
want
he
to
was
get that
not.
out the way.
Neither
he's
was Jungle
stupid.
Nope.
or Horse.
See, you been
Neither one of 'em.
I'm just saying.
disrespectful now.
Jungle was his favorite rapper.
Oh yeah.
No, it's Big Psych actually. Rest in peace.
That's his West Coast favorite rapper.
I stand corrected. All right, man. Anything else, man? Before we get out of here,
Say I didn't agree with
because
him
you've
in the
really been
statement.
on your Jim Jones soapbox, bro.
I'm not on this
Vampire
soapbox.
Life and all this other stuff. Like,
I heard what he said,
Yeah.
and
I mean, he made valid points as far as what he was influential for. I give him that, but if we're scoring,
he never said he was better than Nas.
He kind of did.
He did though. Not on that clip though.
Yeah.
But previously, he definitely said he's better.
Well, to my credit, I never heard that because I saw the headline and I knew it was some bullshit. But what I just heard him say, he never said he was better than him.
Yeah, that was the interview after the interview. Yeah, that's why
he was talking with Fat Joe and him. I don't listen
that's
to him
why he was on his
like
head.
little girls.
Shannon was cooking him.
I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if that's
allegedly.
true. I don't know. Joe, don't beat me up. Don't beat me up, Joe.
Y'all don't know nothing about that one.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, I just know that. Why does it look like Jim Jones gets his hair braided and then brushes it? Yeah. I was like, that was unnecessary, but that's a good question.
Swag.
Because he's influential.
He so when it comes to like swag rap out there on that coast, he's one of the fathers of
Harlem. Do you notice that there's the comment and then there's the second, third, fourth swag rap as it relates to, and then on this coast and that coast, and then at this time zone, and then come on, man.
Well, it's blended. I mean, that kind of style
what about
was
A$AP?
all over the country.
What about A$AP?
Yeah, what about
A$AP is a child of Jim Jones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that right there.
But he was heavily influenced by Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah. And Pimp C.
Yeah.
And UGK.
But Jimmy's in there on that one.
Yes.
I agree. I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Influence.
Shout out to Jim Jones for not, for keeping it chill when Sierra rushed him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, either way, man, this is Terry's
honestly, Sierra deserved that work.
Terry's initial comment about a rollout. Something about the pop. Something coming up.
He put out a record.
Well, I didn't hear.
He put out a record like months ago, though. I believe
Byron heard it.
I have not. I'm looking to hear the aftermath of whatever happens between him and Pusha once this album drops, because I hope Pusha has something to.
I would leave Pusha alone
to touch that man over there.
I would leave.
Pause.
Yeah. Respectfully.
All right, man. Let's end it on that note, bro. It was 100%.